Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. We have another Spyderco. I feel like I've covered a lot more Spydercos lately than I did in like 2024 and 2025, and that's great. I love Spyderco knives. It's one of my favorite brands. The only downside to Spyderco knives here recently is that all of their prices have kind of gone through the roof. That being said, they still remain to be essentially the top performers on earth. Like, at least when it comes to, like, you know, blade steel performance, their combination of consistent heat treatments and geometry, and then of course the ease of manipulation, just the fact that they're really great tools, they end up being like some of the absolute best options for EDC. So this is a model. Actually, this particular model was my very first Spyderco. I finally was like, all right. Like, everybody loves these. And this was, this would have been like 15, 16, maybe 17 years ago when I bought this knife. And I said, okay, everybody talks about this. The blade forms always talking about how much Spyderco knives are so awesome. They look like dead birds. I hate how they look. Fine, I'll try one. I tried this knife. And this knife is the reason that I now love Spyderco and own a ton of them. And ultimately, this knife realistically is part of the reason why I started my YouTube channel. So I wanted to take a look at this version because this version is far more interesting. Thanks so much to DLT Training for DLT Trading for loaning this knife to me for review. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. So what do we have here? The standard version of this knife has a Yucko Disgusto Barfo Poo Poo Town steel, and that steel is 8CR13 MOV. Boo, boo, poopy steel. No, hate it. Dumb, hate it. Stupid. I don't recommend that steel, especially for the price that Spyderco wants for it. However, this Tenacious is an M4. This is a Chinese-made Spyderco, and the Chinese Spydercos of the past have had very lackluster fit and finish. I think whoever Spyderco's Chinese OEM is, in my opinion, the last time I looked at a Chinese Spyderco was a long time ago, but in my opinion, they were not up to standard for fit and finish, compared to the rest of the industry. But the things just perform so well. I mean, here's the truth about the Tenacious. Yet, does it have poopy doopy, yucko, stinky, barfo, 8CR13 MOV, right? That one guy down in the comments defending it, a pie to his face, a pie for him. Everyone all together, pies. Does it have poopy steel? Yes. Yeah, that's factually, 8CR13 MOV is factually an awful steel. The geometry and, the heat treatment, Spyderco does such a good heat treatment. The geometry of the blade was so good that the thing just performed well anyway, which, many people will point out. That's why, you look silly making fun of individual steels. And I'll wiggle my finger at those people and I'll say, no, because when you add in a better composition and then apply Spyderco's legendary heat treatment and geometry, the performance gets that much better, making steels like 8CR13 MOV, even when on a Spyderco knife, the wrong choice when you have a million other choices available to you. The only nice thing about the Tenacious in that steel is that the price is lower than a lot of other Spydercos, but still substantially higher than a lot of its direct competition. This makes a little more sense in G10 and M4, because M4 is an amazing steel. M4 is basically like M390 when heat treated properly, except it's not stainless, but has substantially better toughness. How's the fit and finish now? That's my question. Felt pretty good deploying it just there. The satin finish on this does look substantially shinier than what I typically see. I'm actually going to use a little microfiber pouch here too. It's just because that's what's within reach. I want to wipe some of these little areas off and find out if there's inconsistency in the finish. or if it's just that, somebody touched it and it's left a little area. I think it might be a little of both. The finish in areas actually looks pretty good. This looks very similar to like Artisan Cutlery's sand polish. I gotta be honest, this is pretty consistent on the front here. This looks pretty good. On the back, there's a couple areas like down here. See that little like kind of golden yellow area right there? Makes me think maybe it was burned a little bit. It was just cooked a little bit when they polished it. I don't know. Other than that, there's an area here, very subtle. Let's see if I can capture it. There we go. Area here, area here. Outside of that, though, the fit and finish on this is much better than the Tenacious that I bought somewhere between 15 and 17 years ago, as it should be. This knife runs on your phosphor bronze washers and is a simple liner lock. Not going to have the same strength or reliability as a compression lock, but as long as you use this as a knife and not like some other tool, you'll be okay. It is definitely easy to deploy with the thumb flick because the detent is nice and very easy to reverse flick. The Tenacious has absolutely wonderful cutting geometry. And the Tenacious is the knife that taught me about cutting geometry. I, like many of you, thought a knife is a knife. If you're here from YouTube Shorts, maybe you're the type of person who would say, why does he make fun of these knives, these gas station knives? A knife is a knife. As long as it's sharp, it'll cut. That is a thought that all of us have had at one point. You find out very quickly that this is hardly true. Yes, anything can be sharp, but the difference between something that is just a wedge of material that you are pushing, a dull wedge, by the way, on a very, very cheap knife made with very, very low quality steel. A lot of people just walk around with these in their pockets and they simply push them into material and it divides the material. The same way that the tip of a flathead screwdriver can technically open a box. Can it do it? Yes. Is it efficient at doing it? No. But if that's what you have and that's all you know, then you're going to define that as fine or, satisfactory, right? This is the case of the vast majority of people on Earth. And the truth is that it is fine. If it's working for you, then it's fine. Does it get better? Better hardly describes it. The Spyderco Tenacious is the knife that woke me up to, holy moly, I could be getting this stuff done a lot faster. Geometry plays such an enormous role in cutting performance, right? The steel, the geometry, all of that. When you finally do experience something like this, cutting into a package or material or whatever with a knife that has geometry like the Tenacious, you learn all at once. It's not like some of these knife guys blow it out of proportion. No, you learn immediately. Oh my God, that's bad. Remember, that scene in Parks and Recreation where they're arguing about, the difference in the taste of like a vegan burger. I think it's is it Chris? I can't remember his name. He makes a burger out of a portobello mushroom and he adds all these fancy ingredients and it's probably pretty good. I don't know. I've never had a burger that was made out of a portobello mushroom, but I'd try one. I bet it's pretty good, right? Ron Swanson makes a plain beef patty on a plain bun with absolutely nothing else. The moment it touches his lips, he goes, "This is better." The moment. His competitor in this competition, right? His competitor, the moment. And all of the other people who are testing, all the other participants in the office, the moment they take one single bite, they go, "This is better." It's not even, I'm sure that plenty of people might debate that. But in the context of something like the Tenacious versus like some weird gold M-Tech that some guy has just been like carrying around and using as a screwdriver pry bar. The edge is dull, sharp by his standard, but dull in reality because he just doesn't know better, right? He's still using it to open packages because the wedge is thin enough, right? And there's enough of a tip or maybe shard of whatever's left after he broke the tip off, enough of it to get through the tape and start the cut. And then the material just divides, right? That versus this, especially when cutting into thicker cardboard. The moment that you do that, you go, oh my, okay, now I get it immediately. There's no question. So anyways, this is quite a bit more than a standard Tenacious, but it's CPM M4, which is a great steel, and Spyderco does a great job with it. Is it worth the price? Well, it's close to what Kershaw does with MagnaCut and the same materials, or similar in price, right? I mean, this is up there. So, is it one of the best priced, high-performing Spydercos? Yes. Does the price make sense? No. I think that this should probably be about a $100 pocket knife. That being said, if you are on a budget and you want one of Spyderco's highest performers and you don't need a stainless steel, right? But you still want a super steel, the Tenacious in M4. Now, I mean, like, now that I've had a chance to inspect it and take a look at the quality here, which is pretty good. Either their Chinese OEM has stepped up their game, or they just switched OEMs. Likely they just have new machines that are creating this stuff. Yeah, like, this is pretty good. You're going to have to overpay for it a little bit, but I think this is pretty good. This is not a review of this knife. I think I'll probably do a return to video and talk about the Tenacious again in the form of like a full-length review. Yeah, this is pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with this. I'm glad that Spyderco makes, the Tenacious and M4. I really wish that they would just change the base steel of the Tenacious to something else, right? Change it to, 14C28N or 154CM, right? They'll probably charge more money for it, but realistically, I think that $100 for this makes a lot more sense. That would definitely make it, I think, a little more competitive. But the question is that, does Spyderco need to do that to be competitive? And the answer is clearly not, right? I mean, and this is the hard truth about Spyderco prices across the board. Everybody keeps, getting upset. I think a lot of newer people are just like, I'll just wait it out. I'll just wait because they clearly can't be selling a lot of stuff at these prices. I'll just wait and wait until people stop buying it and they're forced to reduce the prices. That day will never come. And people don't realize that not only are they selling things at those prices, they're absolutely crushing it. And this is a harsh reality. I don't like it either. Spyderco is crushing it at those prices. There's no incentive for them to bring the prices down. The prices will not come down. They're not coming down. The only way that happens is if an oddball model from Spyderco sits at a retailer long enough and then the retailer decides to mark it down a little bit. And those are very specific kind of, models that not a lot of people really want. But the vast majority of these, more flagship, more popular models from Spyderco are still flying off the shelves, even at the ridiculous price tags. So, with knowledge, as somebody who knows that and understands it, I can still sit here and say, I think this is too much money for this, but it is cool. I do like this. If you're going to pick up the Tenacious, this is the one. Spend more money and upgrade to M4 over 8CR13 poo-poo MOV. That's what I suggest. That's it for the unboxing of this knife. The review will follow. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.